Join us and discover beautiful beaches, rugged landscapes, pretty towns, desolate mountain ranges that sweep down to stunning lakes, unique architecture, history and folklore, no shamrocks, no shillelaghs, and definitely no shenanigans. Just naked Ireland. I know that our intro states no shamrocks, no shillelaghs, and no shenanigans. Generally we try to adhere to that, but on St Patrick's Day it's simply impossible not to touch on at least two of those aspects that are usually avoided at all costs. So this is Donegal Place in Belfast. We're right in front of the City Hall, and you can see the crowds gathering here for the St Patrick's Day celebrations. For those watching from another planet, St Patrick is the patron saint of Ireland, and he's celebrated here, and in fact in many other countries where there's a strong Irish diaspora, on the 17th of March every year. That hasn't always been the case here, and you can see a strong police presence further along the parade route in High Street. While St Patrick was a 5th century saint, and so obviously has no link either to Catholicism or Protestantism, rather more generally to Christianity, he's still, in the north of Ireland, a figure who divides. This is because just under half the community in Northern Ireland, according to the last census, identify not as Irish but as British. Therefore the trappings and imagery that go hand in hand with St Patrick's Day, the Irish tricolour, the shamrock, are difficult symbols for large groups of the population here to engage with. I think you can see here a concerted effort to involve a wide community base in the celebrations, an attempt to move away from the connection purely to Irish identity and to one of general civic celebration perhaps. That being said, any trouble in relation to St Patrick's Day in Belfast is more likely to be centred up in the Queen's University area of the city, a place known as the Holy Lands, where a minority of revelling students often tend to make a nuisance of themselves. I must say it's nice to see the more recent Belfast communities becoming involved, and there's the banner, "We are all Patrick." Inevitably we have a marching jazz band. Actually it's appropriate because the idea of a St Patrick's Day parade began not in Ireland at all, but in the US in the 18th century, organised by the large Irish populations in Boston, Chicago and New York. The Irish St Patrick's Day parade is a 20th century phenomenon. I think it should be obvious to all watching that the Belfast parade hasn't quite the extravagance or razzmatazz of a New York parade. I think this is probably a work in progress, as the parade in the north of Ireland is a relatively new thing. Amazingly, it wasn't until 2000 that St Patrick's Day was made a public holiday in Northern Ireland. The motion was finally passed in the Northern Ireland Assembly after Unionists amended it to include a condition that the Union flag would be flown from government buildings on that day. So that gives you an insight into the historical complexities of celebrating St Patrick's Day in the north. On that occasion, DUP politician Sammy Wilson said no self-respecting Protestant would be content to take part in a St Patrick's Day parade. I think attitudes have moved on a bit from that, but tensions are still often present. Here we see a St Patrick's Day stereotype, the green leprechaun suit and the ginger beard, but I guess it's a bit of fun and it's okay on a day such as today. Obviously traditional Irish music is something that's all around us on a day like today. The convoy seems to be a bit stuck here, but it gives us a chance to hear the music. And in true postmodern style, the Irish music is fused here with samba drumming, albeit not quite locking in with the rhythm of the Celtic sounds at times. I think it's fair to say that Belfast St Patrick's Day is no Rio de Janeiro carnival. Of course it started to rain here too, which threatens to put a dampener on things, but rain is something we expect in March in Belfast. This is quite impressive though, perhaps the best of the floats here in Belfast. Again, this is an Irish wolfhound, the dog associated with Irish legend Cuchulainn, and therefore symbolic of Ireland itself. This is quite a feat of engineering, and it'd be good to see more floats of this proportion and quality in the future. Again, we see representatives from Belfast's ethnic communities donning their plastic macks due to the weather on this occasion. Those kids are really getting into it there. Many people will hit the bars and pubs around the country today to, as we say, drown the shamrock. Perhaps this lady has already been at the pub. She seems particularly animated. I think she's supposed to represent the statue of the lady holding the hoop round at the Lagan side, not far from here. The symbolism here is less clear, although perhaps this contingent represents the peace walls of the city's interfaces and a desire to pull them down. That's another story, of course, and you can check out my videos on Belfast peace walls. Another impressive float. I'm not sure of the snake's significance here. It does look like it might have a connection to the Chinese community, but of course St Patrick is reputed to have banished snakes from Ireland. We don't have any snakes, so perhaps that's the link here. These participants look like they're on their way to a Venetian masked ball. I'm sure there's a good reason for their inclusion here. It's traditional on St Patrick's Day to wear green, the colour associated with the Emerald Isle. The shamrock came to be the symbol of St Patrick, since legend has it that the saint used the 3 leaves of the shamrock to explain the Holy Trinity in his teachings. Hence, the shamrock is often worn on lapels on St Patrick's Day. And there's a tall man on stilts, or perhaps a regular sized man on stilts. I wonder if he's a local celebrity of some sort. If you recognise him, you can let us know in the comments. And it wouldn't be St Patrick's Day without a bit of Irish dancing. This poor girl's had to put a raincoat over her lovely dancing outfit. Before we finish off, please give the video a like if it's been entertaining or informative, or both if possible. And please think about hitting the subscribe button to support the channel, and so as not to miss future films that may be of interest to you. Again, I'm not entirely sure who this group of individuals represent. Perhaps they need a banner, but it's always nice to see people getting involved. How does the parade here compare with the St Patrick's Day parade in your city? Let us know in the comments. Here's a charismatic figure.
Everybody on this side, make some noise! Oh yeah! Everybody on this side, make some noise! And everybody on this side, make some noise!
He might need to work a bit on his script, but he seems to be generating a response regardless. In any case, that's an impressive float, and it all points towards perhaps what the parade in Belfast could be in the future.
Round of applause for TK Maxx!
A round of applause for TK Maxx? Do you think he's paid to say that?
A round of applause for carols, gifts and souvenirs of Ireland!
That's it for St Patrick's Day in Belfast. Don't forget again to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon in the next Naked Ireland video. Happy St Paddy's Day.